that they call? If they show like a gun in the first act of a story, then you know it's going to be used.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, but it's like Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, like if you watch like The Walking Dead and
Yeah.
Carl has a gun in the first scene, you know that he's going to shoot somebody near the end or get
I'm
shot
gonna
or
pretend
get
I
shot.
actually know what happens on The Walking Dead
You
since I don't
don't?
watch it.
Oh, you're not a fan?
I just never got into it. The only reason I ever watch Mad Men and I can tell you who is because my boyfriend watches it.
Oh, I really wanted to do Mad Men for a
I'll do an episode. I just won't be as knowledgeable as I am about an episode of Roseanne.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole fun of it is to kind of like
Yeah,
learn new things because you get to.
exactly. Like you had to learn about WKRP in Cincinnati.
All right, so this in this week's episode of a very special podcast, we've decided to do this thing where we're gonna do. Well, it's the month of October now, so we're just gonna do Halloween-based shows for at least the next 4 weeks, maybe more, because who knows. So
We'll
for the
see.
first one,
There's a lot of Halloween shows, so
I know that's the only thing. I was like, do you think we'll still be doing this in a year or not? So that's why I'm kind of like, should we really try to bang them out
I don't
now?
know.
Like, who
Well,
knows? Who knows?
they're good to do because people will be looking for something like this right now, I think.
Oh, because when I was doing research for this episode, I was hoping to find something.
Like a podcast on it.
Yeah, and
Or
I don't think
just,
anyone's done a podcast on the Roseanne Halloween special.
yeah, I saw some articles and blog posts, but not podcasts.
Nothing
So,
yet, but who knows? This could be the first. All right, so we are in the eerie month of October, which is a spooky time to be alive. There are
super spooky.
ghosts, there are goblins, there are hellions lurking about.
Don't mess with that stuff because you don't want the repercussions, but it's out there.
Exactly. So, a lot of television series because holiday episodes are the best time to jump into a show. Just think
Yes,
of all, like The Simpsons started with a Christmas episode.
that they did.
I'm sure the Brady Bunch did a couple of great holiday themed episodes.
They have a Christmas episode, a Halloween-ish episode. There's one where they pretend there's ghosts or UFOs or something.
Yeah, I know you're talking about because they were being haunted by something, and like I think it
Yeah,
was a UFO, but it might have been a skeleton, maybe. I don't know.
I'm a little foggy on my Brady Bunch. I haven't sat down and actively watched it in a long time, except for the very Brady Christmas. So
But Roseanne Barr, nay Arnold. Oh, is it Roseanne Arnold nay Barr? I don't know. What is it?
she goes by Roseanne Barr now and at the time of this episode. So
Okay. So she introduced in the second season of her series, Roseanne, it became an annual tradition where they started doing Halloween themed episodes.
before this, you didn't see very many Halloween episodes.
Well, you had specials, like you had
You
Halloween
had a
special.
special, but a show didn't do very many. Like the Cosby Show, they did two Halloween episodes the entire 9 years or something.
Really, that's it,
So
only two?
yeah, and they were early on.
Like in the very beginning?
Yeah, there's a season 2 one and a season 4 one.
But Roseanne really started that whole tradition there of
Yes, she really
Halloween.
kind of got the ball rolling with all a different Halloween episode each year.
And so she didn't do one the first year, so I'm thinking probably because the show was new and she had to kind of like create a following. But one thing about her show is in her first season, her show was like the number 2 show of that year, which is very impressive for like a new show. Like how
Yeah,
many, I don't think there's any other show that has just kind of like topped the charts that high in its first year. Like I don't think even American Idol even captures that feat.
definitely not American Idol, especially because the first season of American Idol was first two seasons were in the summer, so it didn't have the same fanaticism that you get during fall winter time.
Kelly Clarkson was the first season, right? Yeah, so she would have been a summer jam.
It was the summer one.
She's like the
It ended
LFO of American Idol.
yeah, she is the American Idol.
So Roseanne had her whole first year on the air, and then second season rolled around, and she's like, "Fuck it, we're gonna do a Halloween episode, and it's gonna be the grandmother of Halloween episodes." And it's going to become a yearly tradition. And she introduced, which this is, I've never heard of this, except for Roseanne, the Halloween prank.
Yeah, I was reading, I forget where I read this, but she had to fight with the producers to even be able to do Halloween episodes.
Which is fucking ridiculous right there. Right
Yeah.
off the bat. Right off the bat. So basically, the episode opens with Roseanne and Jackie, and they're making caramel apples. Darlene is so anxious for Halloween. Did she just discover that it was like 2 days to Halloween?
I don't know. It's like it just clicked that it's 2 days. Well, I think it's the apples sitting there covered in the caramel, and she's not allowed to eat them, and she knows she has to wait 2 days before she's allowed to touch them. It's that kind of like, oh, it's 2 days away. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? It's that kind of excitement.
She's freaking out over Halloween. Becky's in the room too, and she's kind of being like, she's brushing it off like, oh, Halloween, because she got invited to a party at Marcy Michelson's house, who I gather is like the cool girl in school.
She's like the cool Regina George type girl, I think is.
The Gwendolyn Pierce of Lanford, Illinois.
Gwendolyn Pierce.
So
she probably dressed like Gwendolyn Pierce too.
I know, I was kind of hoping they would show her, but we didn't get to see her. So then Roseanne and Jackie, they're sitting around, they're talking about soaking car windows and bombing cars with eggs.
Darlene complained that nobody in the neighborhood was giving out candy, so there was nowhere to trick or treat. And then Jackie, who is an officer, who's a police officer, is all like, well, when we were kids, if somebody did that to us, we would like soap their windows, or we'd find a dog in a brown paper bag. And Roseanne's like, officer. And I'm like, I didn't play Did you ever have anybody who wasn't giving out candy?
Wait, first, was Jackie actually a police officer? I thought she was just like a secretary at like a police
No, she was a police officer.
Really?
Yeah.
I never got that from Roseanne. That never dawned on me.
Yeah, Jackie was a police officer for a while until she got injured in the line of duty.
Did she get like hit by a shopping cart? Like what happened?
Like she was chasing a perp, and she fell down some stairs and hurt her back.
A perp?
Yeah, like some like shoplifter or something.
Oh, so she didn't get like stabbed. She just like hurt her back chasing a perp.
Stabbed or shot. She like fell down the stairs and hurt her back.
Not even the stairs. She probably like stubbed her elbow on something. It was like, oh, the perp got away.
No, there's like several episodes about it, like where she's injured and can't work, and then she doesn't want to. They're gonna put her on a desk, and she doesn't want to be on a desk. She wants to be in the field, so she quit.
I'm gonna have to go back and reanalyze this because I never picked up on that.
Well, it's after they quit the plastics factory.
Well, the plastics factory is the first season, right?
Yeah.
So she becomes a cop in between the first season and the Halloween episode?
Yeah, because the Halloween episode's episode 7 of season 2.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, she probably I think they quit right before the end of the first season, and then Jackie's like, I'm gonna go become a police officer, and then,
Did they do a time jump? Because I feel like there's a lot of work to become a cop. But I guess if you're in Lanford, Illinois, who knows?
I don't know. What was the police academy like in 1989?
I don't know. But
the only thing I can go on is the police academy movies.
Yeah, that's like...
And I don't think they were there that long, even though there's a million movies.
Yeah, there's at least 10 of them in a cartoon series.
I remember watching the cartoon series.
I do too. It was on in the afternoon on what became the WB.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there was a lot of crime in Lanford, Illinois?
I feel like
there's probably petty crime.
A lot of crime. Probably kids spray painting graffiti.
Yeah, you probably had Halloween-based crime,
Yeah, mischief night crime.
Yeah, like someone shitting into a paper bag and lighting it on fire and throwing it on the doorstep. Or maybe soaking the windows. I didn't get that. What do you mean by soaking the windows?
I thought she said soaping the windows.
Oh, soaping.
I never did this kind of stuff.
In my notes it says soaking the windows, and it had a big question mark next to it.
I just don't know. I think there was one house when I was a kid that got toilet papered, but not anything besides toilet paper in the tree.
Well, toilet papering, that is a committed prank because you have to get multiple rolls because someone's going to mess it up. Because the first roll you throw is going to be a dud. It's going to fizzle out and it's not going to roll properly. So you have to...
So you have experience in this, Patrick.
I do. So you got to you're going to have to throw it. It's going to go up and it's going to hit the branch and it's probably going to wrap around it. Mm-hmm. Then it's going to fall down and it's not going to look that fascinating. It's just going to be one strand of toilet paper. So you have to do it multiple times. So you... Well,
yeah, and you got to get a multi-pack of toilet paper and hope that nobody hears you and your friends aren't giggling and destroying the whole thing.
Exactly. And you're always paranoid that you're going to get caught or a cop car is going to drive by. A multi-pack of toilet paper is very expensive. even for like the real use that you use toilet paper, I don't even want to pay it. So never mind to like throw it
Coupons,
over
Pat, coupons.
to throw it over some old man's house.
If you really need toilet paper, just get some coupons.
All right, so if there's any teenagers out there, if you want to toilet paper somebody's house this Halloween, go to your Sunday paper. Go to the middle pages where all those little ads are. Flip through them endlessly for hours and look for Scott's, Charmin. Who else makes toilet paper?
Scott Charmin.
Is Bounty, or are those just strictly
No, Bounty is the
paper towels? The quicker picker-upper?
Yeah, with the brawny man.
Yeah, I don't know if you can throw those over because they're like tear away. They probably tear easier.
I don't know.
I don't know. I kind of want to try it out. Maybe I'll try it out tomorrow. Speaking of the brawny man, though, he always reminded me of Adam Carolla.
I see that. I don't know why, but I get it.
Whenever I see the brawny man, I go, is that Adam Carolla? Just one of those things I always want to mention.
Yeah.
All right, so Jackie and Roseanne are talking about their teenage mischiefness.
Yeah.
Becky hates Halloween. She just fucking hates it.
She's at that age. Didn't you get to that age where you're just like, this is stupid. Why am I going out, freezing my butt off, and begging for candy?
I'm not going to lie, that never happened to me. Only because, I'll get to this in a little bit, but that never happened to me. Did it happen to you?
Yeah.
What age?
I stopped going trick-or-treating at 12.
So what grade is that, like 7?
6th grade.
Ooh, wow, you're an early bloomer there, because I was still going to freshman year of high school. But I have an excuse.
Be fair, when I was in the 12th grade, we moved to a few blocks away from where we lived, and we didn't live on, like, an easy access to go trick-or-treating. So I'm like, this is a pain in the butt, and it's raining out. I don't want to go out.
Yeah, did it always rain on Halloween where you lived?
Where I lived when I was a kid, no.
I always felt like it rained on Halloween.
Where I live now, it rained last year, I think, but not the 2 years before that.
Like,
so.
We had a Hurricane Sandy on Halloween.
You guys had nasty weather one year, like beyond nasty.
Like, I feel like Halloween and rain is synonymous together.
Yeah, I just know cold and dark, maybe a little wet, but not like... So there was one Halloween when I was a kid, and it was soaking rain. And my friend Nina and I had to walk home from school, and our costumes were just soaked as we walked, like, the block and a half home from school.
Did you have, like, that Halloween makeup on?
No. I think she was a witch and I was a princess. So we both had, like, long dresses on with, like, long sleeves. But, because it's October in New Jersey, almost November, it's cold, but...
Yeah, it's fucking cold, I'll tell you that.
But it wasn't, like, freezing cold. Like, I don't remember it being like, oh my god, you have to be bundled up. It wasn't snowing like it is in Colorado.
Yeah, because I always did a costume that involved, you know that cheap makeup that you buy at the pharmacy? It's just, like, it probably clogs all your pores.
Yeah, the cheap grease paint kind of stuff.
Yes, so I always involved, a costume that involved that makeup. So I'd be like, I want to be Dracula, so I have to paint my face, like, pale white because he didn't have any sunshine. And it was just that makeup that, like, constricted your, like, sweat glands. And then you would go outside, and I think it was, like, waterproofed, and it was always raining, so, like, you know, like, the combination of the rainwater and that shitty makeup, you just felt miserable. So you're, like, 5 years old complaining. Meanwhile, you have a sack full of candy. Excellent sacks full of, like, Milky Ways and stuff. But you're just complaining the whole time. So I totally understand why Becky hated Halloween.
Yeah.
Because who wants to dress up like a princess? Although I think, did you say Wonder Woman?
Who?
I think Roseanne asked Becky what she was going to be for Halloween, and she sarcastically said Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that would be a skimpy costume.
Yeah.
For a 14-year-old.
I remember, because like, Roseanne's like, what are you going to be for Halloween? And she's like, Wonder Woman. And then Darlene said, I'm going to be Casper the Friendly Ghost.
I think they were both being little...
Well, I mean, if you're the daughter of Roseanne, you're guaranteed to be bitchy to your mom.
Oh, yeah.
It's a given.
Your mom and your aunt, of course.
It's like an understood pact between all of them.
It's just how they show their love, being bitchy.
So this whole thing happens. So basically, Becky, the oldest daughter, hates Halloween. Darlene, she steals candy from Roseanne's purse. Becky gets invited to a Halloween party at Marcy Michelson's house, I guess.
Yes.
And Jackie and Roseanne are kind of trying to, like, bring that lure of Halloween back into the atmosphere. So they tell a story about Mrs. Osmond, who is this old lady who looked like a vampire, and she scared the kids, but not on Halloween.
She's just supposed to be that crazy old lady who lives down the street who has like 1,000 cats.
Yes, because I think like Jackie's like, oh,
There's always like that one person in the neighborhood who you're just kind of like, you guys don't go near there. And then you see that person and they're just ragged, like they don't know how to brush their hair anymore, and their clothes are old, and they just have that permanent bitch face, and they go.
Like a cat lady?
Yeah.
Like the cat lady from The Simpsons?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So I had a lady in my neighborhood when I was growing up, and I was convinced that she was a werewolf for some reason. I don't know why. Well, she had long, flowing gray hair, because a lot of elderly women chop their hair.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a rite of passage. I don't know.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like you get to a certain age, it's like, oh, the hair, it's too long. But you know what? Long hair is a bitch to take care of.
Long hair, she cared. So actually, she long hair don't cared. Let it float. So it was just this long gray hair. And I always thought she looked like a werewolf. And I made up the story. I told my younger brother, I was like, hey, the other night I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and looked out the window. She lived next door. And she had, you know those old dial basement doors that just, they were like a bulkhead, they opened up, and then you like crawled out of it, like kind of like a tomb?
Yeah.
I was going to the bathroom, and I was 6 years old, and I saw Dot the neighbor crawl out of the bulkhead basement, and it was a full moon, and she morphed into a werewolf. And she looked at me, and she tried to climb up the walls, but I was on the second floor and she couldn't get up that high, so I ran back into my bedroom, and along the way I found a silver cross that I kept by my side all night, and I sweated until morning. And he was like, holy fuck, that really happened? I was like, totally happened. Let's break in there tomorrow and find evidence. It became like a Stephen King mystery. And then we knocked on the door the next day, and I was like, Dot? Do you have any candy? And she's like, yes, come in, sons. So we went in the house and we like looked, we crawled around the house all mischievous. And then I I was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. So I pretended to go in the bathroom and I closed the door and I snuck in her bedroom. And I think I found like a brush, like a hairbrush. And I grabbed like a few strands of hair and I snuck back out. And then I said to my brother, I was like, all right, we need to go now. It's going to be dark soon. And he's like, okay, let's go. We left the house and I went back and I was like, look what I found. Her werewolf hair. And she was like, I was very mischievous as a child.
Oh my gosh.
But there was a reason why I did it, because I had an older cousin that was mischievous towards me. And it kind of ties into this Roseanne episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about Mrs. Osmond, and Jackie talks about how she looked like a vampire and scared the kids. And then, what did they say? Like, she winded up somewhere? Like, in a...
She ended up in, like, they finally took her away to the mental hospital.
Like,
and then Roseanne's like, I heard she got out. And then Dan comes in and does kind of what he does.
Dan Conner loves Halloween.
Yes. They've got a nice little prank war going on throughout the entire episode. And, like... I forget who asked him if he remembers Mrs. Osmond. Was it Roseanne or was it Jackie?
I felt like it was one of the kids because I think they didn't believe Roseanne and Jackie's story about Mrs. Osmond. So they were like, Dad, do you know about Mrs. Osmond? And he was like, didn't she have a lot of hits during the 70s? Talking about, was it Marie Osmond is what I was guessing?
Marie Osmond.
And then... I think like Roseanne or Jackie's like, oh no, it was that crazy lady. And then Dan's like, oh, she was that lady who used to try to bite her face. And he did that like he was pretending to like try to bite his face. In which John Goodman, I forgot how much of a good actor he is, like a comedic actor.
I loved one of my favorites.
Like every now and then I am reminded about how great John Goodman is.
I love him in Alpha House on Amazon Prime.
I don't even know what that is.
You gotta get a free trial of Amazon Prime and watch Alpha House. It is hilarious.
Is it like a frat house comedy?
No, it's about these 4 Republican senators who all share a house in Washington, D.C., and they get into these crazy little situations while they're, working in D.C., and they're trying to run for re-election and stuff. It's hilarious. There's, like, the Mormon from Nevada who might be gay and is so deep in the closet he can't admit it to himself. And then John Goodman's the good old boy from South Carolina. And then Mark Consuelos, who is Kelly Ripa's husband, is the Latino who's going to make a presidential run after his freshman year, or freshman whatever, reign in Congress, whatever you call it. Term, yes. Term.
I was waiting for you to say that. Well, I know that Amazon they do those pilots and you have to vote on them.
Yeah, it was one of the pilots. It's gonna get its second season later this month, and they're gonna put all the episodes out for season 2 at once, so you can just binge watch them.
So the entire first season is available now?
Yes, it's on Amazon Prime.
Alright, so I am going to have to log into Amazon Prime tomorrow and find this.
Yes,
Eagerly excited for it.
yes, I think you'll like it.
Great, can't wait. And it stars John Goodman, who is excited
Yes.
about Halloween. And he plays
Yes.
along with Jackie and Roseanne's Mrs. Osmond prank. Because they say that she just
Yes.
broke out of jail, and he kind of goes along with it, right?
Well, they said she just got out, and then Darlene asks, "Yeah, didn't she break out?" He's like, "Yeah, she did." And Becky's like, "That's not what you said."
Oh, they said that they
Roseanne's
let her out, and then, like, they
Yeah.
played it into...
Yeah, Roseanne's like, "Well, I didn't want to scare you."
Which...
And then the classic bit comes when they're like, "Damn, I think there's a woman in the backyard."
Oh, yeah, because Roseanne was, like, doing dishes at that time, right?
Yeah, they were like making the apples and cleaning up, and they go to the window, and the kids are like, "I can't see. Where is she? And Dan's like, "I should go out there." And Roseanne's like, "No, Dan, don't do it." So Becky and Darlene are at the door that goes to the laundry room, like back porch area, and Roseanne and Jackie walk up behind Becky and Darlene and just tickle them at the waist.
And they all,
grab
like,
them, and
shriek.
they jump and they freak out.
I love those mythical stories that always happen around Halloween to kind of frighten children.
It's either always at Halloween or on a Friday the 13th.
Oh, someone always has a story. Because the weirdest thing that involves Halloween, when I was growing up, Halloween in my hometown was banned. Like, not allowed.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to... It was like Footloose, but with cheap rubber masks instead of dancing shoes.
No trick-or-treating.
No trick-or-treating. Like, it was forbidden.
No costumes.
No costumes. Like, you couldn't even, like, say the word Halloween in town.
That is crazy.
And I never understood why. So every year, in my really early years, we'd always have to go to another town, like a neighboring town.
Mm-hmm.
And I hated it, only because, as I previously mentioned, it always rained on Halloween.
Yeah.
So I would, like, one year I was Dracula, and I had to wear this, like, cheap CVS brand white makeup.
Yeah.
And it was raining, and then, like, my costume would get wet, my face would get wet, and the water would beat down, and it was just frustrating. And then, so you'd get all this candy, and then you'd have to drive home, and it was probably only, like, a 20-minute drive, but it felt like hours.
Well, yeah, when you're a kid, 20 minutes is an eternity, especially in the car.
Of course. And then, especially on Halloween night, it's after they moved the clocks back. So it always felt like it was later than it really was.
Mm-hmm.
So Halloween in my hometown was a true hellish nightmare. The popular ritual of trick-or-treating was banned. Or it lived banned. And it was never fully explained to me why.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through probably maybe the first 6 years of my life not knowing why Halloween was banned.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to know. So instead of just asking my parents, I went to the next best resource I had, which is my cousin who was maybe 5 years older than me.
Oh, God.
And he tells me the most horrific story I've ever heard in my life, involving a Michael Myers-like maniac from the movie Halloween, haunting the streets of our hometown, just casually slicing and dicing toddlers and tiaras and their unattentive babysitters. It was just the most frightening image of my life. I just pictured you just walking down the street and some guy would just jump out of the bushes and grab you and pull you back.
Oh my gosh.
And then this went on, I guess, for every Halloween for years. I don't know. And at one point, the townsfolk just were upset with it. They marched down.
Oh, yeah.
They marched town hall with pitchforks and flame torches, and were like, "You need to get Halloween out of here. No more Halloween." Like I said, it was Footloose. You got to get it out of here. So instead of Halloween, we had something called Operation Goblin, which is horrible, awful.
Yeah.
You would go to your school at night, dress up in a costume, and then it was a small town where I lived. Wasn't that big.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that big. So maybe there were 20 classrooms in my entire school.
Okay.
So it's 20 pieces of candy that you get.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Exactly. Especially when I've had Halloween experience. I've gone to other towns, so I knew the kind of score I could handle. But no. So you basically just get 20 pieces of candy. And then for the other hour and a half that you have to occupy, you just play games in Hangman or something. I don't know. It was horrible.
Oh my gosh.
It was the worst. Worst thing ever. And then if you were in junior high, like if you were in junior high during Operation Goblin, you got like a school dance. So maybe it was kind of cool. Like the high school kids, I think, got a dance too.
Yeah.
So
The middle school dances are like nobody dancing together until like maybe one group pushes another guy and a girl together and forces them to dance, and then everybody's like, okay.
Oh yeah, because
maybe it's not so bad.
Because like a junior high school dance, it's like the boys have that teenage itch, but they're still a little shy. And then in the high school,
and then but you dance like this far apart because it's just kind of like this,
like the yardstick in between.
Yeah.
And then the high school kids, they really don't want to go to a dance. They just want to go like smoke pot in the woods. So that is Halloween in my town in a nutshell.
Did you ever find out the real story?
Yes. And it's not as thrilling because I literally just found this out yesterday because I Googled it. I wrote the town I lived in, Halloween banned. And I found an article from a newspaper in our state from maybe 1994-ish. And it said, finally, Halloween has been unbanned in the town of Rockland. Halloween was previously banned in this town due to... This is like the total urban legend right here. I guess in like the late 70s, someone actually put a razor blade in like a candy apple or something like that. Like an urban legend came to life.
So the actual razor blade in a candy apple is from where you're...
From my hometown.
From your hometown.
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm so proud of that. Funny story too, because this even gets even better. So the year they unbanned Halloween, so I was reading the time frame in the article, so 1994, Halloween, I pinpointed 7th grade. Must have been my age. I was like, okay, that sounds about right. Because I was still trick-or-treating at that age. And it was the first time that I got to trick-or-treat in my own hometown on Halloween, like the actual Halloween day.
Yeah.
At the day before, on October 30th, 1994, 3 towns away, we have a prison. There was a prison break.
Oh, shit. You're fucking kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. There was a prison break. 2 murderers broke loose. And they were talking about, like, canceling Halloween at this point. And they were like, no, we can't cancel Halloween. Fuck it, let's just let Halloween roll. And Halloween rolled.
Oh my god.
With 2 murderers on the loose.
Oh my god, this is like a bad Halloween slasher film just waiting to happen.
Because, I mean, if it was Halloween, that would be the best time. Like, because you could just knock on someone's door, some lady's going to answer the door, you just muscle your way in, and you can, like, hold her at knife point, hide in, like, an eave somewhere, who knows?
Yeah, you have a disguise, walk around in, like, ratty clothes, no one's going to question it.
Yeah, you can dress up like Chewbacca.
You could dress up like Michael Myers if you really wanted to. Nobody would question
There's
it.
probably like 600 Michael Myers that night, too.
Probably.
So, they found the murderers the day after Halloween ended, like November 1st.
Yeah.
They were like in the woods, nowhere near like anyone's house.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a happy story, and we got Halloween. That's how we got Halloween back. Like there's how Stella got her groove back, and there's how Rockland, Mass got its Halloween back. On Halloween, the year we get it back.
The first Halloween you guys get in like 20 years.
Well, we had fake Halloweens.
Okay, what's a fake Halloween?
Well, there was
like the Goblin Night, or
we had a loophole.
Okay, what's the loophole?
I lived in the north side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess is like the fancy side of town. And we weren't as ghetto as the south side of town.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, why do we have to be excluded from all of this fall holiday activities?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we just have Halloween? So some woman in the north side of town, she marched up, she created a petition. She's like, hey, what if we do a Halloween the Saturday before Halloween during the day? We'll knock on people's doors and we'll like get their pre-approval.
Mm-hmm.
We'll find out who they are. We'll make sure they're not like serial killers or someone that'll put razor blades in candy apples, and all the candy will be prepackaged. We'll just do like Halloween during the day on like October 23rd. And the town's like, all right, that's fine. Okay, that works. Totally down with it. So we got like fake Halloween. So like every year on like October 23rd or 4th or whatever the Saturday fell upon, we got Halloween.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in a small town in Pennsylvania, and they don't do trick-or-treating on Halloween. They do it, like, the weekend before.
Do they do it during the day? Because it's really weird to trick-or-treat during the day, I'll tell you that.
They do it, like, early. They do it, like, starting around 4, so when it starts to get dark, but they're probably done by, like, 7.
Yeah, I think they gave us, like, 4 to 6. So it was like as soon as the sun started to set, it's like, you gotta run home, the werewolves are coming.
Exactly. As soon as it's like dark and you need a flashlight, it's done.
And then we got a list of all the houses that like you had to go to. So you had to go to these like pre-approved homes.
Instead of just going to the ones with the lights on.
Yeah. What a world we lived in 1990, pre-1994.
1994, Halloween 1994. I think I was at home watching Friends, giving out candy to like maybe the 3 people who showed up at our door.
I remember what I was in 1994.
What were you in 1994?
You know that like that hairspray, like hair colored spray?
Yes, I love that stuff.
So I had that in my hair. I think it was like a orangey color.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of like made myself look like a scarecrow. I wore like a flannel shirt that I already owned and like stuffed it with leaves. And then like wore these like I think I grabbed like a pair of my grandfather's pants, stuffed them with leaves too. So I was like kind of like a scarecrow, I guess is what you would call it. But I don't know why I sprayed my hair orange though. I had no idea why, but I did it for some reason because I had it.
Because it was 1994 and the wacky hair colors were really hot then.
And I had it. I had access to it.
Yeah, I had access to it too. I would dye my hair.
Little streaks.
I would spray my hair like pink or orange and go to school with it like that.
I did that same thing too when I was a boy.
Yeah.
Totally normal.
Yeah.
Totally normal. And
then I'd be in detention because I was late to homeroom, and like the older kids would be like, "Hey, how'd you get your hair that color?" I'd be like,
you know that junk you buy from CVS? That's how I did it.
Yeah, it's like that stuff, or it's like Kool-Aid.
Oh, you were
Jell-O.
You were a Kool-Aid hair colorer?
Food coloring. Yeah, my hair has been pretty much every single color of the rainbow possible.
Did you have access to Manic Panic?
I have done Manic Panic. I did Manic Panic in high school, Midnight Blue, junior year.
I was really into Prince, so I wanted to do my hair purple, and I have dark hair.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't work. So I bleached my hair blonde. Then I tried to put in the Manic Panic, and my hair turned like silver. I looked like Anderson Cooper. Like it was purple for a day, then I took a shower. Or I went in the pool. I went in like someone's pool.
Oh, God.
And it turned silver.
That would be the chlorine.
Yeah, probably. But at the time, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then my mother was freaking. She's like, because I did it before the school year ended. She was like, "You can't go back to school on Monday." I was like, "Fuck you! I'm going back to school Monday with my fucking. I'm a silver fox." And no one cared. It was that time. Actually, I think I tried to give myself a mohawk, and I failed to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Teenage rebellion. What can I say?
Yeah.
Do you know who else was a teenage rebellion or rebellion? Darlene Conner.
Yes, she was. Remember when she dyed her hair black and everybody's like, "Oh my God, she's depressed."
Well, she had brown hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she did it.
She had brown and then she dyed it black in like season 3 or 4.
Like the pre-college season?
Yeah, like when she was still in high school, but then she went to college. That's where the timeline got fuzzy for me.
Yeah, only because I was like still in 7th grade, so someone in college, I couldn't comprehend the idea of that.
Yeah.
Like, meanwhile, at the same time, like, Zach Morris and AC Slater were going to college, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, how does that happen? How?
Okay, so we were talking about how, you were going trick-or-treating, you had the pre-approved list, right?
Yes.
Okay, did anybody have a haunted house?
Yes, I was going to get to that, but I was waiting for Roseanne Conner's haunted house. My whole life. What year did this episode air? 1989?
1989.
Okay, so this episode came out in 1989, and I watched Roseanne from the very beginning. Like, I was there from the start. And I remember seeing this episode. I think was that Tuesday nights that it aired?
I think so.
I remember it being Tuesday night, so I watched it on Tuesday night. And I saw Roseanne's House of Horrors, Tunnel of Terror, what did she call it?
Tunnel of Terror.
Tunnel of Terror. And I was just like, someone needs to do this. And I tried to do it. I really tried to do it. I went into my basement and I just grabbed like a bunch of sheets that I could find and I hung them up on little clotheslines. But no one came. Because we didn't have Halloween in my town. So nobody came. Except for the fake Halloween. But I was out trick-or-treating, so we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I was a Boy Scout. Yeah, I was in the Boy Scouts. My troop leader, whatever you call him, he actually reminded me of Dan Conner. He wore, he was heavy and he wore the flannels with, the blue jeans. Like the actual blue jeans.
Yeah.
Actually, this took place during fake Halloween, too. this ties into fake Halloween.
Oh, it ties into fake Halloween?
It does, and I didn't realize this till right now. Because he lived in the north end of town, like I did. Like 5 minutes down the street. And because it always rained on Halloween, they would rent this like big tent kind of thing. And they would put it in their backyard. And they would put like tables underneath it. So they would have food, all kinds of crazy things. And then they had like a little shed. And they made the shed look like a fortune teller's booth. So you can go in and get your palm read. I remember I have a, if you look at my palm, I have a long lifeline, I guess. That's what the 16-year-old girl who was manning the fortune teller's booth told me. But inside their actual house, they reconstructed the first floor of their house into a haunted house. Like a legitimate haunted house. It wasn't like a stupid one that I would see during Operation Goblin at my school. You know those, you know that like, it's kind of like that construction paper. It's like that black construction paper that's on a roll. Like you probably use it for like an art project.
The butcher paper, the art paper.
Yeah. So they would like construct these boards, and then they would roll the paper over it. So they like turn their living room. They would make like little like kind of like little aisles or hallways.
Yeah.
That you have to kind of wind yourself through, and it went into their kitchen too, because there's just like 2 big rooms connected to each other. And then they would have strobe lights in there. And the father of this family, at the end of this episode, there's a scene where Dan Conner, he is wearing like the hockey mask like Jason from Friday the 13th, and he has the chainsaw.
Yeah.
He did that.
And he's got the light right behind him. And
yes, this guy did the same exact thing. I guess he must have taken the chain blades off the chainsaw. I don't know.
Yeah, the actual saw part.
Who knows? He probably didn't. It was the 90s. No one cared then. It was like the last decade people cared. So you had to go down the first part of the hallway, and then you take a right, and there was like a little, kind of like the hallway widened, and then there was a chair, and he was sitting in it, and he stands up. And he actually turns the chainsaw on, and it revs up, and it's really loud. And there's strobe lights going, so you kind of just get those, like, cut images of it.
You're just like, where am I? Where do I go? You're disoriented.
So I'm walking through with one of my friends, and we're probably, like, 6th grade. My friend stopped in the tracks, sat down. I'm pretty sure he pissed his pants that day, too. And he's like, we can't go by there. I was like, why not? And he's like, he has a chainsaw. And I was like, we can't go back because everyone's going to laugh at us. He's like, no. You go first. Then give me the signal. Then I'll go. So I was like, all right, fine. So I get up, slowly walk by the guy with the chainsaw, and all he does is look at me. Because he's not going to cut me because it's a fucking chainsaw.
Yeah.
So I get by, and I'm saying with my friend, I'm like, come on, let's go. Meanwhile, he's still like crouched in the corner. I can see him. He's like pressed up against the paper, and he's legitimately crying. I can see him crying. And then at this point, because there was like a whole Boy Scout troop, so like they would wait like a minute and they would let like another like crew of kids through.
Yeah.
So my entire like class is just walking by and watching this kid cry on the side of the Halloween hallway.
Oh my gosh.
And then like you just round the corner, it's the end of the haunted house. Like it wasn't that. It's like walking through someone's living room. It's not going to be that big.
Yeah, it's not that big. It's just enough to like
scare the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
So there's this one kid just crying in the corner. We're all making fun of him in 6th grade. And then, like, 11th grade, he ends up being, like, the biggest kid in the whole school. He's, like, the toughest and biggest kid in the whole school. So if you even brought this up, he would fucking pummel you. So, like, you can't... Like, if he ever hears this podcast, I can't even say his name because...
Yeah, don't say his name.
But even he'll know. He'll know.
Oh, I'm sure he'll know.
I go all out. So, like... They did a Roseanne-esque haunted house. And then when you got to the end of it, they had these little food pots that you would like put your hand in. And it would be like spaghetti. And they were like, those are human entrails. And you're like, ah.
Yeah.
There's this whole thing where Roseanne and Dan... They're kind of like competing with each other about
the Great Prank War.
Who's the master of Halloween.
I didn't know somebody needed to be the master of Halloween.
Yeah, so this is where we're kind of saying that Halloween pranks are kind of new to me. I didn't know that Halloween pranks existed.
Yeah, I didn't. My mother did not prank my father on Halloween that I know of.
No, and I would have loved to have seen that. Like that, I would have loved to have been pranked. All I got was just Operation Goblin.
Yeah, I got like, let's go trick-or-treating. Dad's staying home to hand out the candy.
And the occasional murderer breaking out of prison.
No, we didn't get those.
But Roseanne and Dan, they compete with each other. So Roseanne establishes that the previous year, that Dan had ate his eyeballs.
Yeah.
And
Jackie says, I think he got you last year when he ate his eyeball.
And they just completely brush over that because I really wanted like the specifics of that prank.
Yeah, like, what food substance do you think it was? Like, do you think it was just like a gummy eyeball?
I don't know. So Roseanne's like, you know what? I'm gonna one up him. And she kind of like, she takes a hairbrush and she kind of like brushes up her hair so it's all staticky looking.
She teases it up.
She teases it up.
So it's all ratty.
Becky walks in the room all sullenly and is like, Mom, what the hell are you doing to your hair?
Classic teenage brat.
Yeah, and
attitude.
Roseanne's like, Becky, just shut the fuck up for 5 minutes, please, please.
Just go away. I'm doing something here.
So then she sticks her hand in the toaster oven. She pretends she's getting electrocuted as Dan is walking in the room. And Dan is like brushing his face off. He must have just gotten out of the shower.
Yeah, Dan's just like not paying attention. He's like, whatever.
He's like, yeah, Rosie, I got a job that I gotta do tomorrow. And so and so. And then he like takes the towel off and he sees her like shaken, and he rushes over like he pretends to care. And then I guess Roseanne must have dropped like a piece of toast on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, I was so worried that this piece of toast would get burnt. And Roseanne's like, oh, are you kidding me? She's like, how did you know this was a prank? And he's like, because if this was like, if you were really getting electrocuted, you would have completed a full circuit. The lights would have been flickering. And she's like, oh, God.
Yeah, she didn't think about that part.
And then, so right here, this is where Jackie runs into the room with one of those orange, like, Halloween cassette tapes.
Yeah, she comes in with the cassette tape and the boombox with the removable speakers.
And then Dan's like, ooh, removable speakers. But did you ever have one of those cassette tapes?
I don't think I actually did.
No way, because I had, like, at least 10 of them. Like, I got like
Obviously,
3 every year.
My share of them. No, maybe my brother did. I would text him, but he won't text, so there's no point in asking.
So it was basically like an orange cassette tape, and it said like Halloween sounds. And you play it, and it's basically just the sounds of like murder and like jangling chains.
Like, woo!
Yeah, and like a woman screaming. And then you, like a cat, like, and then like a...
Just ridiculous sounds.
And then like a witches / Roseanne-esque cackle.
Yeah.
Either way.
I mean, I've seen those tapes. I just don't think we ever had a copy.
So Roseanne comes out, because Jackie's like, oh, I have a tape of like Halloween sounds. And then Roseanne's like, oh, did you tape your date last night?
Gosh.
Well, because the Conners, they always kind of like just do one-liners at each other, back and forth.
Yeah.
So then they kind of like settle the score, and Jackie's like, Roseanne, I want to see your costume. Roseanne's like, let's go out to the laundry room. And she pulls this like black cape that you don't see again for the rest of the episode. She like wraps it.
Yeah, I don't think she actually wears the black cape.
No, she doesn't. So she wraps herself in a black cape with like the red, like Dracula underneath. Mm-hmm. And the tall witch's hat. And she's like, I'm the Wicked Witch of the Midwest. Which is like a complete joke on Lanford, I guess.
Lanford, Wizard of Oz.
And then, at this point, Dan pretends that he cut himself on the jigsaw in the garage. And he comes running in with a rag over his hand. He's like, oh my God, I just cut myself. So they're all freaking out. He has this like white rag and it's all bloody. He's like hanging over the sink. And then Roseanne's like, let me see it. And then it was just like, it was a prank. So he had like a little like squirt packet. And this like huge...
squirt bottle of like usually used for motor oil, like of the fake blood.
And it comes squirting up and it gets all over the place. And Roseanne's like, what the fuck? Like, you just got this all over my linoleum floor.
Yeah.
So now Roseanne's pissed. Roseanne's like, this is a sick household. Like, I need to get back at Dan somehow. And Jackie's like, why don't you just pretend you're pregnant? And Roseanne's like, I don't want to kill him.
Yeah, that would kill him. I mean, fourth kid.
They had a fourth kid in the last season.
Eventually. Born on Halloween.
Oh, was it actually born on Halloween?
Mm-hmm.
It was Jerry Garcia's ghost, right?
Yes. Jerry Garcia Conner was born in season 8.
On Halloween?
On Halloween.
Was it one of the infamous Halloween episodes?
It was. It is Halloween, the final chapter. It, like, starts off like Halloween, and then it morphs into, like, this Grateful Dead Jerry Garcia weird tribute thing.
I don't think it... I remember that happening, but I don't remember the details. I remember the final, like, Rich Roseanne season where Darlene was pregnant and, like, possessed.
Yeah, and Edie and Patsy were there.
From Absolutely Fabulous?
Yes.
Yeah, that final season of Roseanne was weird.
Yeah, that's because Roseanne wanted to do an American version of Absolutely Fabulous, and networks didn't want to buy it, so she's like, I'll just turn Roseanne into that.
Well, what ended up, like, Roseanne had, from seasons 1 through 8, she was always in the top 10 of the Nielsen
Yeah.
ratings. So the final season, like, she knew it was going to be the last season.
Yeah.
Right, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Who cares at this point?
Yeah.
Like, you're going out on top. They won the lottery.
Yeah, they won the lottery. Dan wasn't around. He went to California to visit his mother in the mental institution.
Really,
Almost
he just
had an
doesn't
affair. Roseanne and Jackie had these weird, crazy adventures at a spa, and there was a prince played by the guy who played Ernest.
Jim Varney,
Yes.
rest his soul. So,
And it was just weird.
I remember it was probably like 10 years ago, this very week. I remember I was really sick one day, and I was laying in the basement of my aunt's house, because that's where I lived at the time, and had a couch and a TV. I probably had like 104 fever, laying down, and there just happened to be like a Roseanne marathon on that week.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It was like 24 hours of Roseanne, so I'm then down there with like Dimetap. And then I, like, at the peak of my Dimetap high was this, like, the lottery season of Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching it and just going, am I tripping right now? Or am I just watching the last season of Roseanne? Because I have no idea what's going on. Because it was real, like, I remember it was just really, really out there. Like, there were, like, fantasy sequences.
Yeah, there were fantasy sequences with ninjas and at spas. It was just weird. Weird.
But I give her props for trying to do it, though.
Yeah, she tried to do something different. It unfortunately didn't work with what had come before. I think if she had done an American version of Ab Fab, like she had wanted, instead of taking the characters from Roseanne and trying it with them, it would have worked. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like, basically, if she didn't make the final season of Roseanne 20 episodes of a Halloween episode, it would have worked out all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was watching a clip of all the Halloween episodes. I completely forgot that one season Roseanne dresses up like Prince.
That is the skeleton in the closet.
That's like the one that got away. I completely forgot about that.
That's the one where Leon and Fred and Nancy and Dan all try to get Roseanne to think that Fred is gay.
Yeah, Fred and Dan are like, they're in bed
together. Meanwhile, Roseanne's mother is trying to convince her that she's bald, and then everybody comes in with like bald caps on, revealing they've been wearing wigs, and then Roseanne blows up the house.
Yes, because that was at the very end. They're all coming with bald caps, and Roseanne's like, "Oh yeah, watch this," and she goes like underneath the sink. She pulls out like that like Looney Tunes dynamite thing.
Yes.
And she pushes down on it, and it pans out, and the house explodes. So we've gotten through the first week of Halloween.
Yes, we have.
Next episode, this is going to be an exciting one because we're going to flip the switch here. We're going to go from a recurring live action sitcom to an animated special. You're probably going to think the Charlie Brown Halloween special, but no. What's better than the Charlie Brown Halloween special?
Oh, I can think of a few things. Not really. Actually, only one. There's only one thing that's better than the Charlie Brown.
Is it the Garfield Halloween special?
It is the Garfield special.
So if you were listening to
Halloween Adventure, aka Garfield in Disguise.
And join us next week when we talk about a Garfield Halloween adventure, aka what?
Garfield in Disguise.
And until next time.